at Night will start in 30 seconds.
And now, introducing Casey Carter.
I got what you need, I got what you want, I got what you need, tell them giddy up. I got horses in the back, trunk in the front, exterior red and that inside buttercup. I got what you need, I got what you want, I got what you need, tell them giddy up.
Ladies and gentlemen, Casey Carter.
Woo! Wait, hold on. I gotta get my applause. Hold on. We can't do this without applause. Welcome. It is Wednesday, and it is time for Casey at Night. In case you don't know, I'm Casey. Okay, well, yeah, that says Casey at Night, and that says Casey Carter, and that's both me. That's both those things are me. So, if this is your first time to the show, welcome to the show. If you're watching a replay, thank you for stopping by. I hope you'll stay for the whole show because tonight I have a very dear friend. Well, let's just be honest. Every week I have a very dear friend on the show. Tonight is no different. I have another dear friend on the show. And like so many of my dear friends, this is someone that I met social media and connected in real life. And, you know, we just found that our paths crossed because we were both interested in the same thing. And let me just say, pleasure. You find a lot of friends when you focus on pleasure, when you focus on your own pleasure, when you focus on how to pleasure other people. You meet a lot of people interested in what you're interested, and we all like to get together, share notes, share friends, and my dear friend Kat is no different. Kat is out here teaching the masses at the Meow University, and we'll be holding a scavenger hunt at Exotica next week. We're going to talk about all those things, but we're also going to talk about, and listen, y'all, Casey don't gossip. I don't. I really don't. Think about it. You never really hear me gossip. I have opinions about things, but I don't even really give you my opinion about things a lot. But I just have to talk about Diddy. Got to talk about Diddy and all the shenanigans and all of the dominoes that are about to fall associated with Diddy. And Kat has said she would indulge me. So we're going to talk about that too. But first, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you to Kat Leaks from the Meow University. Hey, girl.
Hey.
How are you, love? Oh, please tell me we're not delayed.
Oh my God, this applause is sending me.
Listen, hon, you gotta have sound effects.
Oh
And
no.
these are sound effects from when I do Exotica. Like we have
Smash.
and don't ask me why. Don't ask me why. And then this is my favorite one to play. This is my favorite. I know it's not your birthday, but I'm gonna play this like it was your birthday.
They ask me what I do and who for, and how I come up with this shit up in the studio. All I want for my birthday is a big booty hoe. All I want for my birthday is a big booty hoe. When I die, bury me inside the Gucci style. When I die, bury me inside the Louis style.
Okay, I'm sorry for the. Oh my God. Okay, now that we got the giggles on. Ladies and gentlemen, Kat Licks from the Meow University. Kat, please introduce yourself to the audience.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kat of the Meow University. We're getting ready to celebrate 13 years in operation, adult sex education through events and classes. We work through techniques, entertainment, and inner work.
Where are you located, Kat?
That's me. We're right here in Chicago.
So, like I said, scavenger hunt in Chicago at Exotica. We did it for the first time last year, and it was sort of an experiment on both our parts. And I'm gonna tell you, I had a good time. Your crowd had a good time, right?
Yes, everybody was knocked out on the bus on the way back, and we talked about it for months. And still talk about it. We had a ball.
So, and here's how the scavenger hunt works. If you've never done a scavenger hunt, you get a list of things you have to find. You don't always get explanations. You just got to go find the things. And the way it was set up for Exotica, it was literally designed to encourage the participants to see all four corners of the convention floor, because it is huge, it is massive, and there's a lot to see. And the way we structured the items, you know, you're gonna have to go to the stage, you're gonna have to go to the seminar, you're gonna have to peek at the dungeon, you're gonna have to go to these, you know, various places, the VIP registration. And it really sort of in a playful way allows you to see things you might not have bothered to go see. It allows you to engage with people you might not have ordinarily engaged with, because some of the things that you had to do also, there's the Sexpert booth, Tyomi Morgan Sexpert booth has various people, one of whom is Daddy Hef. Daddy Hef, if you know him, he does sensual BDSM. And so in addition to finding him, you earned points if you allowed him to demonstrate something on you. You earned points for taking pictures with people, for doing various things. And again, the whole point of the scavenger hunt was to encourage you to explore. And as it says on the flyer, and let me find it here, as it says on the flyer, you know, you are encouraged to discover your wild side. Hold on, let me slide up over here. Your wild side with the exotic scavenger hunt.
Yes, that is exactly what we want.
So, Kat, hopefully the Wi-Fi will start acting right here, because we were just having a lovely conversation before the show started, and now the Wi-Fi want to act funny. But you know, we were talking a little bit about we were talking a little bit about, you know, what the Meow University is. So explain to them its creation and its purpose, its mission.
Oh, my origin story. To just say 13 years ago now, I was pretty much like a newlywed, a mom of two, and I just wanted to know, where do you go? What's a safe place to go to ask questions about sex? Where do you go when you want to try something new? When you want to do something different, but you don't exactly know what different is, where do you go? Um, I thought about porn. You can really hurt yourself trying to imitate that stuff. Um, Here
And
in
it ain't really real.
Chicago, I mean, like it's a world class city. Oh, right, half of that stuff is not real, right? Um, and so you can't really take that in as a uh, good resource, right? If you're religious, they're not really talking about this at church. Um, so where you go, here she'll have classes on the side, and you speak out any institution here, but uh, 9 out of 10, there were no other people in there that looked like me. I felt like a fly maybe and so that created like an uncomfortable situation to ask questions about intimate situations. So that wasn't really an option for me, and trust me, I tried. You have toy parties, half the time you have your girlfriend talking about, yeah, I know what the tab at 5,000. And, you see all the functions that they have, you're like, where am I supposed to put it? What am I supposed to? And it just seemed like you were in a situation where I knew the answer to this, but you didn't feel comfortable because they're like, girl, you don't know what the Jackrabbit 3,000 do? And I'm like, no, I don't know. Um, and so, honestly, my first class uh, was done after a toy party with a toy store. They were like, "Hey, we kind of like your energy. We want you to come out and bring your people, whoever they were, right?" So, first class we had was by referral, right? Somebody was, hey, you call Angel, this lady, she teach you about fellatio. And I was like, oh my God, what is fellatio? We don't even use that word. What is that? And they were like, girl, how to say it. I was like, oh,
Okay.
really?
Wait,
And
hold
I was
on a
like,
second.
wait,
Hold on a second, Kat, because your audio was popping in and out. Do me a favor, jump
can you hear
off.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but it's popping in and out because of lag. I want you to be able to tell them about this first class, and I don't want them to miss any of the words. Do me a favor, jump off and jump back on, and then I'm gonna let you finish telling that story.
Okay, I'm gonna try this from my phone and see if that helps as well.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So while Kat is um, setting herself up again, um, she was getting ready to tell this story about the first class that she held, and I don't want you to miss a word of what she says because she's about to tell you about a oral. It's an oral class with an oral test. And it was quite interesting because there were aspects of it that when she told the story, I immediately flashed to the girls trip movie because there's something that happens in the girls trip movie that is related to the story she tells. So I don't want you to miss any parts of that. But as she was explaining, the point and purpose of why and how she got into this was because she was answering questions for herself, looking for answers to her own experiences. And I can totally relate to that because a lot of what I do for me has been on that same sort of journey. I'm trying to figure things out for me. I'm exploring what my pleasures and desires are. And along the way, you meet other people who were like, hey, I'm kind of interested in that too. So hold on, we got Kat back. All right, let's see if that's better. Get I need you to unmute yourself, Kat. You're muted. you are muted. How do we get you unmuted? You muted the guest. Now I'm unmuted the guest. All right, Kat, your mic, according to my software here, says you're muted. How about now? Say something now.
Can you hear me this way?
I can hear you.
Say something now.
Yep, you're good. I can hear you.
You can hear me now?
I can hear you.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, great.
Yes.
Okay, great. I don't know if it's still lagging or not.
A
My
little
apologies.
bit. A little bit, but we're gonna try and push
So
through.
we left off at this first class. Okay. So I can tell you about this first class with Angel. We probably had about 10 to 11 ladies and myself, and I can promise you we were all traumatized together. And everything like it came out and a live demo on a person, but using a so I mean she was really shutting this thing like it. I mean it was like probably from the wrist to the elbow, and it was appearing me, and we were like, oh my god, how in the hell what but she walked us through all the mechanics of it. How do you get reflex? How do you how to like 12
And unfortunately, we lost her again. Shout out to Duchess Cashmere. Listen, I'm bringing you on the show too, girlfriend. Don't think I forgot about you. So I'm gonna need you to write some material, and I'm gonna need to figure out what date you can be on the show, so we can talk about what you do and say. And well, I'll be seeing you next week at Exotica, so we can talk about it then too. But listen, I'm hoping Kat can get her Wi-Fi figured out so that she can tell this story, because again, she the woman who was teaching the fellatio class, she was just getting ready to explain how she basically walked them through the mechanics of giving fellatio and or head. In case y'all don't know that word, fellatio, look it up. FELLATIO, fellatio. And walk them through the mechanics of how to do it, how to control the gag reflex and all of that. And here's the thing, there's a lot of people out here who give classes on how to do it, because a lot of women will tell you they don't do it, whether it's they don't like the taste, it smells, it's dirty, whatever the case is. Believe it or not, there's an answer for all of that. If your partner is a little musty down there, part of the play, part of the foreplay, part of the experience can be you bathing them, or getting a warm washcloth and wiping them down from head to toe, so that it doesn't seem like you're focused on just that area. Rumor has it, if you eat certain things, they claim pineapple. Like, I think we've all heard the story of giving your man pineapple to make him taste better. Diet overall, people, makes all of us either taste good or taste not so good. That literally, it applies to women as well as applying to men. Diet affects how you taste, plain and simple. Um, and gag reflex, well, I think some of that is also a state of mind, um, that you gotta I'm not gonna say you gotta push past it, but you definitely have to work through it, right? Like I'm not an expert on the gag reflex thing. I can't tell you how. We can certainly get an expert on the show and talk about that. But it is something, some things are mind over matter. Some things are you having to um, work through what it is you're responding to in order to then overcome and achieve the goal. So I'm just saying, for those of you ladies who are like, oh no, it's nasty, I'm not doing it. Don't knock it till you try it. I'm just saying. Nobody said you gotta swallow. Nobody said you gotta gag on it. Nobody said you gotta, get a Olympic gold medal in fellatio. But it certainly can be tailored to an experience that's good for both you and your partner. So I'm just saying. Just saying. Hopefully we can get Kat on here. But in the meantime, while I'm waiting for Kat, listen. Diddy. I don't know. I just the Bill Cosby thing and Weinstein, Epstein, and the islands. Rumor has it Diddy got an island. Rumor has it Jay-Z got an island. And let me tell you, it'd be interesting with the Jay-Z thing. Thank you, Kelly. Thanks for chiming in. Ironically, my phone was just ringing. It was mom on the line. I know she knows it's Wednesday, and I know she knows it's past 7:30. So hopefully she'll leave me a text or something so she can explain why she calling during the show. But I don't even really know that I know what to say about the Diddy situation and the dominoes that may fall. Kelly, don't work about, honey. You and I have been for a while. So you good. You do what you got to do to take care of you, and the show goes on. You show up when you can. I shout you out when you're here, when you're not here. It's all good. It's all love, as they say. But I'm trying to figure out really where we're, let me say it this way. If you're paying attention to what law enforcement is doing, they are sneaking up on all the little people surrounding Diddy. They haven't gone in on Diddy yet. They're snagging all the little folks who, if he got snagged first, he would drop dime on them. The fact is, they want to know who's above Diddy, right? They want to know who's pulling Diddy strings, who's connecting Diddy, who's hooking Diddy up. Because with Diddy, they also are talking about drugs. So it's not just human trafficking, sex trafficking. They're talking about drug transportation. So there's a lot going on there. A whole lot. And Duchess says that she thinks he did it, all of it. I'm gonna tell you what. Yeah, I'm buying it. I'm absolutely buying it. Mainly because, like I said, he rolled around in the Epstein circle, right? Like, you may only see all of the non-melanated people affiliated with Epstein, but the Diddy's and the Jay-Z's of the world, they all got invited to these parties as well. They got invited to the parties. They had parties and showed up. Epstein has this island. Well, where do you think Diddy got the idea from? Where do you think Jay-Z got the idea from? And let me tell you, I sold real estate in Florida, used to go to the Caribbean all the time. There is always a stretch of beach, a island, an uninhabited island for sale in the Caribbean. The Caribbean is nothing but a collection of islands. We know of, Nassau and the Bahamas and St. Thomas and all of the little strings. Like, we know the ones with names, but there's a bunch of them with names you don't know. And you can buy yourself an island. And I'm going to tell you what, ain't as expensive as you think to buy the island. What gets expensive is bringing supplies to the island because they don't have the things. But when you're Diddy, when you're Jay-Z, when you're Epstein, You fly them joints in like you fly all of the famous people, all of the celebrities, all of the paparazzi. No, well, not the paparazzi, but the royalties, the dignitaries, the political uh, influencers, all of that. You fly them in. You fly everything in, and nobody's there to tell you what you can and can't do. That's what these islands are, why they were so tricky and such a huge investment for people like Diddy and Epstein. Because on that island, they were king, not the president. They were the king. Everything that they wanted, everything that they said, whatever whatever they call law was law, because there was no law to tell them otherwise, because they owned the fucking island. So yeah, like I said, he's out there snatching up all the little people. There are, I should say, law enforcement is out there snatching up all the little people, and they're leaking all the little things that they're aware of related to Diddy, so that folks are going, "Ooh, I was at that party. Ooh, yeah, I was there." Because think about it, there's a lot of people that they're throwing their names out, and they're talking a lot about the parties and who they're connected to and the people who have shown up to the parties. They mentioned royalty. Was it Prince Harry was at a party? Oprah was at a party. Now they do that to make those people nervous and anxious, because at some of these parties is where the shenanigans took place. It'd be at these parties where, and I think one of the stories I heard was that it was at a party where Usher, was it Usher? Back when he was young. And that's all I'm going to say. Back when he was young. Even Justin Bieber, back when he was young. So, we shall see. This is quite interesting. And then talking about Jay-Z, now that they're saying that he brought some 15-year-old to Brooklyn when he was 20 something, got her pregnant, and now there's a kid. Well, not now there's a kid. This is from years ago. But Lord knows, they talking about they got bodies on Jay-Z. Hopefully Cat will be back. I'm sorry. At this point, I'm just rambling. If you got anything to say, chime in, y'all. Chime in. But, listen, the rumors that have swirled around both of these men for years, I'm not going to lie. I think I was really a little taken aback by hearing what they were saying, just how deep it ran. But if you know Wendy Williams from way back in the day when she first blew up in New York as a DJ, she talked about this gay rapper that, and not an individual, it was a people. There were men who she said were gay in the hip hop community. And of course, you could not back then be identified as gay. Now you can be identified as gay and it's all good. But back then, back in the 80s, 90s, late 80s, early 90s, you could not be identified as gay and be a rapper. Oh, no, 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 no. But Wendy used to dangle that like a carrot, this idea of the gay rapper, and the fact that she knew who in the industry was gay, who in the industry was hooking up with who. And Diddy was one of those names that used to sort of perch itself on the lips of Wendy, which is why she made a lot of enemies. A lot of enemies. All right, let's see if we can get Kat back on. Hey, girl.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, my God.
You're good. You're good. Okay, so I want you to go back to the story. Tell them again what the class was. and then walk them through everything.
Okay. So our very first class was a fellatio class with Angel. We probably had about 10 ladies in there. We were all traumatized at the same time. Um, she came in, I mean, she walked us through all the mechanics of how to do like a perfect blowjob, you know. Um, but she had a dildo that was probably from your wrist to your elbow, and that thing was disappearing. Okay. Right. And so if you've ever seen Angel do her thing, she makes this noise, you know, from the back of her throat that kind of helps relax those gag reflexes and whatnot. And so, you know, it sounds kind of like cat like, but it generates like all this phlegm and
Right.
spit, and you know, it makes, you know, like when you're doing it, it's helpful, right? But when you're saying it, it's like, oh my God, what the hell are you doing? Um, I can say that at the end of that class, you know, you were kind of like surprised, skeptical, but then when you went home and tried it, you were like, oh shit, I can really do this, you know? And so, um, what was crazy was I really did the class out of curiosity, but I really saw that there was a need for it. I needed it, hell, because we had that class because basically she asked me one question that sold me on the class, and she was like, "Kat, do you suck dick?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, I mean, I'm a wife, yeah, sometimes." And she was like, "Uh huh. So do you like it?" And I was like, no, I don't." And she was like, "Well, why don't you like it?" And I was like, "Well, it takes a long time. My face hurts, and I just don't get anything out of it." And she was like, "Well, what if I told you I could show you a technique where you can do it and your face doesn't hurt and you actually get to enjoy him enjoying you?" And I was like, "Okay, sold." And it's true. It's true. It really
Mhm.
happened, and so, from there, we call each other dick connoisseurs, so we kind of got excited about it. Um, and so after that class, like people were like, wow, clutching pearls. And, what I was surprised was all 10 ladies in that room looked at me and said, "Kat, what's next?" And I'm like,
Mhm.
"Next? Yeah, what are we going to do next? How did I become this person that, you know, uh, now I am the person that puts together these classes, but it really was me. you know
Mhm.
I could not escape um sexual conversations, just in casual conversation, because also the other thing was, I was a new mom, and so I was always looking for, like educational toys, and there was a company where you could sell, I'm gonna say it again, educational toys. So, if I would approach somebody and say, "Hi, I'm a new mom. I sell toys," and they were like, "Oh, do you have that Jackrabbit 3000?" And so before I could even say no, that's not what I'm talking about, they're already telling me about the Jackrabbit 3000 and how
Mhm.
many different ways they've used it. And oh my goodness, I even got my partner involved in this Jackrabbit 3000. And I'm like, wait, I was talking about educational toys for children, you know. So I was trying to figure out like why all these conversations were coming with me, and it's true. And even to this day, people feel comfortable divulging all of their personal information to me,
Mhm.
and it's now I just hold space for it because it's
That
nothing I
right
have to
there.
run. I don't have to run from it anymore. I can hold
Mhm.
space for it. And when I have curiosities and questions, I can, there are people out there such as yourself or other educators that hold space for me. And then we have class that holds space for everybody. And
Everybody.
so we
Yeah.
just created this community for safe space to express, like sexual expression is a thing. Enjoying sex and understanding that nothing is wrong with you is a thing. And so it just created this community, and I've enjoyed this rabbit hole of people that I've met over along the way that does, everybody does something like so like I'm impressed with everybody, right? Like I met you, I was like, what do you do? That's so amazing, like everything is so amazing. So like when I'm genuinely like in shock, or people look at me like, oh my God, is she really like this all day? I truly am like this all day. I'm curious, I want to know, I have questions. We get to play with concepts during class, so that's like one of my requirements for working with educators. So if there are any educators listening, I promise you I'm the easiest person to contact. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I am out there. But one of my requirements is that one, we can have that self-identity piece, like I could see myself doing this. Because one of the things that I had an issue with introducing fellatio, introducing BDSM and kink to classes, was people would be like, "Oh, girl, that's that crazy white people shit." And I got so tired of hearing it. And to this day, it irks my soul to hear that, because it's not true. And so, when I first started these classes, it really was a struggle to find educators of color. Um, but the educators that we did find that were not of color, they had absolutely no holds barred in their teaching styles, and if a live demo was called for, they would do the live demo. I mean, because a body is a body is a body, and if you could see, just fulfill your curiosity by watching something happen versus being involved yourself. I know one person may be listening, but like I have seen a fire demo before, and that's probably easier than somebody saying, "Hey, you want to go have some fire play with me?"
Yeah. Yeah.
I want people to know, God, what are you walking into? Whether, someone invites you into like a polyamorous relationship, what does that mean? If somebody says, "Hey, let's go to a play party," hey, what does that
What's a
mean? And
play
here are some
party?
questions you should ask. Right. Who all gonna be there? These
Uh-huh.
are
And
questions you should
yeah,
should be asking.
and that I think is the beauty of what you do. I mean, because the truth of the matter is there are Meow University type um groups all over, but they're kind of localized, right? Like they are in their area. If you live in Denver, there's somebody there in Denver. Or if you're in the New York tri-state, or if you're in the DMV, like there's other Meow University type groups, and you need to basically kind of put your ear to the ground and you'll find it. Like if you intentionally seek it, you will find it,
Yes.
and you said something, Kat, about you just basically kind of accepted the fact that people are going to share things with you because they view you as a safe space. Like, and that is something that I had to personally come to grips with is, you know, me as an individual, I am a safe space. You as an individual, you are a safe space. And I always find it interesting when a perfect stranger unloads all these things. And I'm like,
Yeah.
we don't know each other, right? Like I literally just
Right.
met you 5 seconds ago. Why do I now know all your deep, dark secrets and all the
Yes.
kinky shit you have done, want to do, about to do? Like, and
Yes.
I had to come to grips with that and acknowledge the fact that people need to feel safe. They need to feel like they are okay. I don't even like to use the word normal because I think normal is a relative term. I think people just want to feel like I'm
Right.
okay. I'm not a deviant. I'm not abnormal. Sex is normal. Sex is something that the
Yes.
human body was created to do. We were created to have. the sex. So
Yes.
why do we treat it as such a negative and bad thing? And I think if I could switch gears now that Cat's back, I think some of why sex gets a bad rap is like what I was talking about earlier with um, Diddy and Jay Z and Epstein and Bill Cosby. You have people who basically have taken their celebrity, their fame, their notoriety, and they've taken advantage of people who genuinely want love and affection, who want that connection to that fame, and you know cross the line in some way. I mean, let's just be honest. We see people crossing the line down on street level where we're at. We see people take advantage of other people in BDSM and all of those things. We see it all the time. But on that famous celebrity level, they take that joint to extremes. And uh Kat, is there something going on in your background? Because Duchess is saying there's a lot of background noise.
Oh, can you? Is it? Can you hear me over the background? Should I go on mute?
No, no, we can hear you, but we can also hear whatever's in your background.
Oh, okay. I can't. I
Okay.
can't fix my background.
Okay. All right. We're gonna work through it. We're gonna work through it. But as I was saying, the Duchess has already said she believes Diddy did it. He did all of it. And I'm with her. I think he did it. I think I don't I wonder if fame and celebrity makes these people go overboard and get all extra about it. And prior to the show starting, and I'm mad that I didn't record that conversation, but prior to the show starting, we were talking about this, and you were sharing your thoughts and opinions about how this affects individuals and how it affects the world of pleasure.
Yeah, I mean, when you submit or create a situation where you are vulnerable to someone, because I believe wholeheartedly that to enjoy sex with someone, you have to be in a vulnerable space. That's one. And so, when people have power over you or some type of influence over you, that kind of changes the dynamic. And sometimes going into those situations, you really have to be aware of what that power dynamic is. Which is, one of the things I do admire about BDSM is that you can negotiate that power dynamic. But in regular world situations, you don't necessarily get to negotiate power dynamics with people. People of influence, like community leaders or celebrities, can definitely take advantage of that. But um, we do a lot of inner work, because people do get abused out here. And so you have to be aware of yourself and how you feel about yourself, and if whether or not you're worth protecting to protect yourself,
Mhm.
because some people do that out of emotion. They don't feel like they are worth being protected. And so this person of influence, this person of power, they feel like they need to connect to them in any kind of way, regardless of what it costs them. And they'll do, kind of fall into, not victim blaming, but they kind
Right.
of fall because responsibility falls on the other person as well. But they'll
Mhm.
kind of fall into that because of how they feel about themselves, and like I might as well, because this person is a means to an end, but not realizing how much this is going to cost them getting into those situations.
Yeah, and when you talk about a means to an end,
Hmm.
you made mention of the fact that there were parents who, whether willingly or unknowingly submitted their children because of this person's celebrity, and not even because Michael Jackson was going to make their child a star or Diddy was going to create a platinum album for them. It was, it is literally just this idea of, I think you even you commented on it, that stuff in, I can get hooked up, and the hookup, if you're lucky, trickles down to your family. But when you think about it, in the case of R. Kelly, he took these girls and poof, they was gone. Like, family,
Right.
even though the family was like, yeah, it's okay, then they realized, wait, you took my kid, can I get my kid back? Like, I do want my kid
Man,
back, and with
that shit
Michael
was wild.
Jackson, they the parents willingly let these children spend time with Michael Jackson and all of that, and but Michael didn't necessarily hold on to the kids the way R. Kelly did. But I'm hearing Diddy also had the little sleepovers like Mike did.
Yeah, I mean, you get starstruck out here. Folks just want to be next to that celebrity. Like, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. How many celebrities are trying to be next to me? You know what I'm saying? And it's horrible, how people were taken advantage of for that. Um, I, I can't even explain, but some people, have these, like, fantasies about
Hmm.
these people because they're celebrities. You see them on
Right.
TV, you see the video, and so you think that your life is about to be like that party, and you get trapped up in those situations, and it's nothing like the video. You're not finna. It it's nothing like that. You like, wait, why do I have to be tied up?
Uh,
Wait, hold on.
yeah, and
Do
while
I
I'm
have to
being
take this particular drug? Do I have to
and I
take
got to
this
get
drug?
passed around, and you're
Yeah.
telling me I got to perform, do things to these various people, and I get what out of that?
None of that is part of the fantasy, I promise. When
Mm-hmm.
you think about these celebrities and what your dream, experience with them is going to be, none of that shit is part of the fantasy, and it could quickly turn into a nightmare, which is why I just really feel for the victims in these situations.
Yeah, so Ms. Juicy, who will be a guest on the show in 2 weeks,
Hey, Miss
said
Juicy.
she said, I feel that parents also need to be held responsible and accountable. And I don't disagree. I think they also, though, get caught up in the stardom, the fame, the possibility. Um, and I don't know, I don't,
Right. Like
I
that
don't,
golden ticket on Willy Wonka.
yes,
Like, no, mm-mm, mm-mm.
yeah. And
And
I
even
don't,
that turned into a nightmare.
exactly, exactly. Sure did. Every last one of them, except for that little boy who actually looked out for himself, right? I mean, come on now. And I don't, there's a part of me that's like, I don't even know what to say about the parents. I don't know what to say about the parents, because I'm gonna say it this way. Years and years and years ago, I think my daughter might have been in middle school, maybe. She was in
Mhm.
an after school program, and they were doing a production at like this youth center. And the young man who was directing, producing, what have you, said something that made my children cry. My daughter and my son are 18 months apart, and they were both there together. And he said something that made them cry. And we were out shopping when they told me this story. And I was like, huh? What? I was on the phone. I called like 3, 4 different people, and by the next day, dude was kissing my ass, and he was crying because I'm like, oh no 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 no, you're not fucking with my kids. That's not happening. They ain't asked for nothing. You ain't really giving them nothing. So you're not gonna walk all over my kids and think I'm not gonna come for you. And like that's to this day my attitude. My kids are 23 and 24. And I have that same feeling. Anytime my daughter goes out of town somewhere and there's a boy involved, I let them know straight up, I will come for you. I will call people who will come for you until I can get to you, right? So I guess this is why in my heart I'm like, I can't rationalize the parent who will allow their child to be abused, because you may not know, you genuinely may not know that that's what's going to happen. But
Mm-hmm.
and after a while, it was kind of public knowledge. The rumors were public knowledge that some things were going down, and yet you still
Right.
continue to send your kid. Now, those parents, I'm like, shame on you, because the rumor of something scandalous like that, that would have been a hard no for me right there.
I mean, it changes out. You know, like if we're talking about like the R. Kelly story, who the children were changed out. You know, like he didn't keep anybody long term. Um, you know, it was more like they were used, they aged out, you know, and then he was right back out
To the
there
next one.
to the next one, you know, and it's kind of like you can do that as a celebrity, especially when you have money, because you can move around, you can get different people, you can pay people off with hush money, you know, and you can, you know, what we, you know, jokingly, but you know, dead ass serious, called strange for change. You know, you can
Yeah,
keep
yeah,
soliciting strange for change, you know, moving around because, you know, economic situations call for people to do strange things for money at times. And it's one thing to do it knowingly going in to do strange for change. I know people that like doing strange things for change, you know, but and I wish that they would get more of that work versus them, you know, preying upon someone who has absolutely no idea. Like you invite them over for dinner and then you drug them and
but
now you're paying them off. You know, that's a whole different
but
situation.
that is a part of, because I've said the same thing. You've got plenty of people like when R. Kelly, you know, was known when it became very public that R. Kelly liked to pee on people. I'm like, dude, there's a whole subculture about that. Like, you don't have to do it to people who aren't into it. You can actually find somebody who will willingly do it and enjoy it. But then you have to think about the actual psyche of the predator. And they don't want the other person to have the enjoyment. The enjoyment is theirs, right? So part of their enjoyment is also inflicting the pain and humiliation on the individual and having control over the individual. And again, there are people who will willingly let you humiliate and do all those things to them, inflict pain and so forth and so on. But as I said, part of it is, if I'm giving it to you freely out of my enjoyment, then there is no enjoyment for the predator. So they take these victims because part of their pleasure is in the victimization. And quite frankly, there's to me no other word to use other than predator. They are straight predators. And like you just said, how they
Right.
change them out. You age out and the next one comes in. When I think of Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, you know, she started off as a girlfriend when she was younger, and then as she got older, she turned into the pimp who would get the girls for
The
him
recruiter.
and
Hmm.
groom the girls for him. So yeah, it's I think for us who are in the business of pleasure, we're like, dude, I could get you a line out the door. Like, I can line them up one after the other. You be good. but that's not what they want. They need the victim. They don't want the volunteer. They want the victim.
Right. So to me, like having these discussions in the sex education space, the sickness is not necessarily the act of sex or how they like to get off, so to speak, but it's the victimization that makes this really um, ill. Like it has a lot of ill will, ill intent behind it. Um, just knowing the work that we do on how you have intentions going into sexual and intimate situations, right? Because all intimate situations are not sexual, right?
Mm-hmm.
But just going into navigating intimate spaces, what are your intentions with this person? Because it can be because people are coming to you if they like you, if they admire you in any way. Some people are willing to do just about anything to be in your space. And so, what are your intentions for this person when you accept their admiration, when you accept the things that they're willing to do? What are your intentions for this person? Are you going to give them an experience that could be pleasurable and healing? Are you trying to hurt them because you're hurt and you haven't healed from that? Are you trying to victimize them because you got some illnesses that haven't been diagnosed yet? Like
There's a
I
lot.
stress mental health so much. I stress mental health care so much. I stress self care so much because you can actually inflict a lot of things on other people unknowingly,
Yeah.
if you haven't taken care of your issues.
Right.
Some people get upset and turn around and hang up on people, like, I don't want to talk to you anymore, and hang up. Whereas you should be able to communicate with somebody.
Yeah.
So I would definitely push for communication, getting to know people, um, understanding what your value is as an individual. You could
Mm-hmm.
kind of protect people from these situations. You should not be so starstruck that you get into um, these situations where people promise you money and fame and I'll take care of you forever, and you don't have to worry about anything if you
Anything.
just
Yep.
say yes and you don't really know what
What
you're
you're
saying
saying yes
yes
to.
to. We're
Yeah.
trying our best to get more classes in on vetting, vetting partners,
Vetting. Yes.
communicating, negotiating these things with
Yep.
partners. Yeah, 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 right. Vetting, so you don't get into like, hey, I'm new to, because a lot of people, including myself, are new to kink and BDSM, and so like, how do you find a partner where you don't end up like you're on SVU or Law and Order or something, because they paint that stuff so horribly, but
Yeah.
how do you not
Yeah.
end up that person, when you
Right.
want to vet your partner, like, are you really meeting someone that wants to give you release through pain, or this somebody that just wants to
Wants
inflict
to
pain
inflict
on you
pain.
because they
Yeah.
have some sick shit going on in their head? Like, you have to be able to you have to have that discernment. It's just absolutely necessary.
Well, listen, we are at the end of the show, and I want to thank you, Kat. Let me again post up this scavenger hunt flyer on here. Hold on, I want to put you on here. I
Yes,
want to
please
thank
join us.
you.
We plan on having a ball. Yes.
I want to thank you for being on the show. I want to thank you for telling us about your fellatio story. And telling us about the Meow University and indulging me in this conversation about Diddy, because I think, again, a lot of what happens on this level up here affects us down here. When lawmakers inflict laws that supposedly are, to prevent human trafficking, it doesn't affect the Diddies of the world. It
Right.
affects us. It limits our ability to educate and
Absolutely.
empower the community. So we have to
Thank you.
keep talking. We have to keep being an influence, keep being a safe space. and we have to keep making ourselves available for all of you, and for you to join the show and talk and ask your questions, because listen, if you be respectful, we will be here to provide you with information. That's all I ask, is be respectful. Do not be rude, don't be vulgar. This is a place where we can exchange ideas and opinions and respect one another at the end of the day. So thank you again, Kat from the Meow University. And I look forward to seeing you next week.
Yes, I can't believe it's going to be next week already. I have so much to do, but I'm so excited. Thank you so much for being my safe space. I'll see you soon.
All right, hun. I'll see you. Bye. Bye, everybody. Okay, wait. Hold on. Before I completely say goodbye,
Bye.
as you
Oh,
know, 9 o'clock, 29 minutes from now, I got to hurry up and do a quick turnaround and get ready for BoobTube on Exotica TV, on X and X and YouTube. Join me and my co-hosts, Carrie Platinum Pussy Anthony and Desirable Bottom, where we are talking about streaming, TV, movies, all of that. All of that. So I'll see you shortly at 9, or I'll see you. I might do my show next week. I'm having trying to decide because I got to go to Exotica on Thursday. But just hold on and find out. I might pop in just to talk about what's up next with Diddy. But anyway, all right, y'all. Peace out. Good night.